Q&A session. So we are headed to our other house with a dog, Kit, that was probably attacked by an owl. So we go to the vet. She's not in bad shape.
No, we've been taking care of it.
Yeah, it's happened, what, 4 days ago now?
Thursday night late.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Not for sure what got her, but...
No, but it looks like talons on both sides of her neck. She's got wounds. They're not terrible, and she's going to be all right.
We've been cleaning it with alcohol and putting Neosporin in it, but this is just for precaution to make sure...
Yeah, she's in heat. She's in heat too, so she's going to get bred soon, so we want to check. Probably give her some antibiotics for 10 days out. But I want to bring that up because I talked before about being careful about your dogs being outside. Yeah. So what happened here was the two Frenchies got piled outside so they could go poop for their... In the night. Yeah, before they go to bed, and it was dark outside. And, whoops, someone just pulling out from us. And anyway, we think that's what happened. Yeah. So she got the wounds from somewhere. Yeah. So just...
First we thought cat, no big deal. The next day we went, no, that's not a cat.
No, not our cats. Our cats just want to play with them.
She had some blood more down her side of her neck.
Yeah, she's got a puncture wound.
Yeah, she's got like 3 or 4 puncture wounds.
Right, yeah. So bringing this up because, you know, just I've been harping about be careful about your dogs outside. We've always been concerned about it, never had a problem with it. Well, here we are, we've got a problem with it. Yep. Not the end of the world, she's going to be okay,
well,
but certainly...
2 big old owls, a male and a female.
Yes, huge.
And,
I mean,
and then there's
7-foot wingspan.
Too.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, and the owls are hanging around by the house too. So there we go on that one. So that just bringing that up, so that's because I don't, you know, it really can be a problem. I'm waiting for one of them to take Tammy off.
I think they'd have a hard time lifting me.
Oh, come on, Tammy. 2 of them could get you up in there.
I think it'd take about 12.
Yes, Darley Brito says, hey, James and Tammy, I collected yesterday for my stud. He's over a year old. We're expecting her first litter soon. His semen when checked by the vet said it was good. My first trying to collect the semen looked pink. Maybe blood. Is that normal? Yeah, it is blood. It's exactly what it is. And this is not uncommon in dogs that have not been used in a while, or a new dog that's just being started out with.
Studs.
Yeah, studs. Yeah, and it'll clear up. So just, it's not going to be a problem. It won't affect the semen quality. And just a single drop of blood in there will make it look really pretty red. So you just got a tiny bit of blood in there, and it'll go away. Don't get worried about it. If it persists, then I mean, maybe it's time to think about whether there's something else going on. But I doubt there's an issue at all. C. Johns, good morning, love your channel. I inseminated my dog at progesterone of 10 and again progesterone of 14. That was 8 days ago. Is it normal for her still to be bleeding dark red at this point? Yeah, I mean, it does happen. So the thing about blood color and discharge and heat, it's very variable. And, you know, it's a good indicator where things are going. And typically what you see is a dog starts to lighten up around ovulation, day 9 or 10, bred a couple of days later and she's gone clear, but not always. Some dogs continue to bleed for a full 21 days, so I don't think it's a problem. Edwin Dennis, this is one for Tammy. Will a fluffy Frenchie always have fluffy puppies?
But it needs to be bred to another fluffy to have full visual fluffies.
There, that's it. That's the important
And
one.
if it's bred to a fluffy carrier, it'll get half and half fluffy carriers and full fluffies.
That's right. So if you put a full fluffy with a dog that has no fluffy genes at all the puppies are fluffy carriers, none of them look fluffy. Although we have seen a bit of variation in coat length on those puppies.
Yeah. Waviness.
Yes.
Real thick.
Salty Nachos says, salty, I like salty nachos. You like salty nachos?
Yeah.
Salty Nachos, for TCI, which is a transcervical insemination, does the semen have to be frozen? No. In fact, the majority of inseminations that are done in the United States where it's shipped overnight, it's going to be chilled semen, much easier to use, much simpler process, much less expensive to ship. But if you are using frozen semen, then you do want to use either a TCI or a surgical. You don't do a vaginal with frozen semen. And the reason is because frozen semen has once it's been unfrozen, it's good for about 10 hours and it's dead. So you've really got to get it in there quickly. It doesn't have time to swim up the vaginal tract to spend the day doing that.
Now if you're talking about about sending it over to the UK. James could send it over across the ponds.
Yep, we can with our shipmate system.
With the shipmate system.
We can sell
and it's chilled, not frozen.
Frozen, yep, absolutely.
Which is 100 times better, 100 times cheaper.
Yep, all the way around better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The nerdy Book Nook says, hello, love your channel. How many litters can one female have through AKC? I thought I'd read 4, but I've only looked for older females. I'm getting different info from different breeders. Is there a limit? Nope, there's not a limit. There are some limits on the AKC in terms of age of dogs. So for a stud dog, it can't be younger than 7 months, and I think the upper limit's 12 years. And similar things on females, but there's not a limit on the number of litters. I mean, that would limit the number. Let's say that I'm right, it's 12. And I mean, you had 2 litters a year, and it started when it was a year old, so you did 11 years of that. That'd be 22 litters. Of course, that would be ridiculously excessive, and nobody wants to, make any. But the simple answer is, unless things have changed, there is no physical limit other than age limit.
But always check the health of your female,
of course,
before getting your bred.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody needs to practice, responsible breeding, and I think the most important thing about, by the way, in my opinion anyway, is care and well-being of the mum. So, things can go wrong and you can lose puppies. Oh, it's sad, but it happens. But you don't want to be in a situation where you've messed up and lost the mum, because that's just poor planning. Right. And it can happen, but good planning will stop it from, so that means that don't hammer the dog. If the dog didn't recover well from the last C-section, give her a rest. If she's having small litters and she's getting older, maybe she's done and it's time for a spay. Quentin Wilson. Yep.
Is that trouble in the wind?
Yep. It's a tiffin, it's a nice one. Quentin says, hello, I have a pied Frenchie with merle in him. And I have a fawn girl. I'm kind of new to this, and I want to know what colour pups they might produce. She's coming up my second need. Well, okay, so there's a couple of things here that we can't answer this question directly, but the first thing is, you say you have a pied Frenchie with merle in him. If it doesn't show merle, and it might have had a merle parent, but if it doesn't show merle, it's not a merle, and there's no merle present. If it is a merle, then half the litter that you're going to produce will, on average, be merles. The rest of it, we have no clue on the colours of either of these dogs. So I don't know what colours they're going to be. There's not a hope that I can answer that question. As far as the pied portion is concerned, if you have a pied girl and the other mate is a pied carrier, then half the litter will be pied. So you could get pieds and pied merles and something else, but I don't know what the colours are going to be. I'll ask Tabby this one, she won't know the answer. She might, I don't think she will, because I had to look it up. Rebecca Del Cruz, have you ever had an experience with puppies with open fontanelles? Can you do what that is?
No, I don't.
I don't know what a fontanelle is. Well, it's in a Chihuahua where you get an open top at the top of that.
Yeah,
what do you call that in a Chihuahua?
Yeah,
I can't think of
it's
the name
a
of it.
soft spot up
Yeah,
there, like
where the bones
baby
haven't
that
fused.
has-
Babies
soft
get to.
spot.
There's a name for it. What is it called? It's not fontanellas. I mean, that's fine. That's probably another name for it. But look, here's what's going on. So the answer is it'll be fine. That's the quick answer. But what's going on?
It covers.
Yes, when it's called a Morella.
Must have been a real creamy puppy.
Morella?
I don't remember.
Well, what's going on is the skull is made up of a number of different plates that are all kind of jigsaw puzzled together, and the top has an opening where all the bones fuse together eventually at about maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks old. And there are some breeds like Chihuahuas where you can, and babies, human babies too, where there's a soft spot. And I mean, you can put your finger in there and press down on it. Well, because if you did that to me, I'd go like this.
That's what happened to James whenever he was
That's
little.
right. No, I was dropped on my head. That's completely different. Completely different. I was dropped on my head. But yeah, it's fine. Not a problem. How long do you keep? So Kathy Hume says, how long do you keep the ear taped up? As long as it takes. If you catch it early, it won't take you long. It might be a couple of days. If you catch it late, dog's 8 weeks old, it might take you a month. So catch it early, continually tape it up until when you take the tape off, the ears are staying up, and they're staying up, you know, 8 hours later, you're good to go. Question about brindle and fawns. My fawn with black masked female came from a brindle mom and a merle dad. Would this mean my girl shouldn't pass the brindle but pass on the merles? No. So back
Unless
to this.
she's been DNA'd, she might be a
Cryptic,
cryptic
yeah.
merle.
So we'll talk about what Tammy's talking about here in a second. But the answer is a dog that has a merle parent but doesn't physically look merle didn't get the merle gene, and it won't pass on merle. It has unfortunately nothing to do with merle at that point. There is a thing called a cryptic merle, where the dog actually could be merle, it doesn't show it. Pretty rare. Have to do a test to find out on that. And you can breed a cryptic merle to a merle. As far as the brindle is concerned, just because you had a brindle mum, well, you said that your girl is a fawn, so we know she didn't get the brindle. And what's going on is the mum has a single copy of brindle. She didn't give it to that particular dog. So that puppy will grow up and not produce brindles unless it's bred to another brindle or brindle carrying dog. And that's 11 minutes, so that's enough of this one. So goodbye. Watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.